Aisha sat on the edge of her bed, staring at her swollen feet. She was 9 months pregnant, and exhaustion clung to her like the harmattan dust. The weight of the baby in her womb was the only burden she carried. Her heart was heavy with secrets. Her husband, Chike, walked into the room, his face dark with worry. Aisha, are you sure you are okay? You look pale. I'm fine, she murmured, forcing a smile. But she wasn't fine. She had been hiding something from him, something that could shatter their marriage. The baby she carried might not be his. A year ago, Aisha's marriage to Chike had been perfect. They were the couple everyone admired. He was a successful businessman and she ran a thriving boutique in Lagos. But when Chike's business suffered a financial hit, things changed. Chike became distant, drowning himself in work and avoiding conversation about their struggles. In his absence, Aisha found solace in the arms of another man, her ex-lover, Femi. It had been a mistake, a moment of weakness, but the consequences has grown inside her for the last 9 months. And now the baby was almost here. The night before Aisha went into labor, she received an anonymous message. I know your secret. Chike must know the truth before the baby arrives. Her heart pounded as she stared at the message. Who could have sent it? Did Femi tell someone? Had she been careless? Panic set in. If Chike found out, her marriage would be over. At 2 a.m., Aisha jolted away with a sharp pain in her stomach. Then she felt it a gush of water. She felt it a wash of warm water liquid between her legs. Her water had broken. Chike! She screamed. He jumped out of bed, startled. Is it time? She nodded, wincing. The pain was intensifying. As Chike helped her into the car, her phone buzzed again. Tick-tock. Aisha, it's time. Her fingers trembled. Whoever was behind this was watching her. The drive to the hospital was tense. Aisha bit her lip, struggled with contraction and the fear gripping her chest. Just as they neared the hospital, a black SUV swerved in front of them, blocking their path. What the hell? Chike cursed, slamming the brakes. The SUV doors flung open and two masked men stepped out, guns in hand. Get out of the car, one of them barked. Aisha screamed, clutching her belly. Chike raised his hands, his face pale. This is a mistake. My wife is in labor, he shouted. But the men didn't care. One of them grabbed Aisha's arm, yanking her out of the car. Pain shot through her stomach as she collapsed onto the ground. The world around her blurred, and the last thing she heard was Chike yelling before everything went black. Aisha woke up in a dimly lit room. The pain in her abdomen was unbearable, and her wrists were tied. Help! She cried. A figure stepped out of the shadows. It was Femi. She gasped. You? What are you doing? His eyes were cold. You didn't think I do let you raise my child as another man's, did you? Aisha's breath caught in her throat. You did this? Femi knelt beside her. I love you, Aisha, but you chose him. Now, I will make sure the truth comes out. Chike wasn't the kind of man to sit back while his wife was kidnapped. After the attack, he had called his friend DSP Okafor, an officer in the Nigerian police force. Within hours, a team of officers tracked the black SUV's plate number to an abandoned warehouse. Chike led the charge. The moment they burst in, chaos erupted. Gunshots ranged out. Men shouted. And in the middle of it all, Aisha screamed in pain. Chike rushed to her, untying her hands. "We need to get you to the hospital now." But Femi wasn't alone. "She's not leaving until she tells you the truth," he shouted, holding a gun. Aisha, drenched in sweat and pain, had no strength left to fight. Tears streamed down her face as she whispered, "Chike, there is a chance this baby isn't yours." Chike's froze. The room felt silent. Femi smirked. "There it is." But before he could say more, Okafor's men tackled him to the ground. Chike didn't move. He just stared at Aisha, his expression unbearable. "Let's get you to the hospital," he said finally. At the hospital, Aisha's labor was long and excruciating. Through the pain, she watched Chike sitting in a corner, his hands covering his face. She had broken him. Hours later, the baby cries filled the room, a beautiful baby boy. But instead of joy, there was tension. Chike stood up, his voice cold. "We need a DNA test." Tears spilled down Aisha's cheek. "Chike," but he walked out of the room. 3 days later, the DNA test result arrived. Chike sat across from Aisha, holding the envelope. His hand shook as he tore it open. Silence. Then he let out a breath. "He's mine." Relief flooded Aisha. "Chike, I..." He raised a hand. "I will raise my son, but I don't think if I can ever forgive you." With that, he walked away, leaving Aisha in pain, holding her newborn baby.